What we have to, first things first in terms of building, all right, we got to make sure that we understand that we have to identify a gap or a need in the marketplace for our product, all right? And we have to make sure that we have solutions that can fill that need or a gap in the marketplace. Certainly, you've got to have, you've got to be the right people, or you've got to bring the right people into this organization of yours to have a successful business. Today, you don't get anything done without technology, right? I mean, it's either data or some hard technology or software, whatever it is you're going to be using technology. Certainly, you got to talk about funding. And in order for all these things to happen, you got to be able to sell your product and service out in the marketplace so that you can generate what? Revenue to do this stuff and to pay for these things. So it's absolutely critical that we get this done. Here are the aspects of sales DNA. These are the different components. Controlling emotions, what we call buy cycle. I'll explain that, and I'll take 30 seconds or so to talk about that. Each one of us have a process that we go through when we get ready to buy something. Now, I don't mean buying meat, bread, potatoes, vegetables, milk, butter at the grocery store. When you get ready to make a purchase of something of substance, there's a process that you all go through, and we call that the buy cycle. Your own personal buy cycle can either help you in selling your product and service in the marketplace, or it can hurt you. I'm not saying it always will, but it has the potential to do that, okay? Need for approval. We all have a need for approval. I have a need for approval from my Lord and Savior and my family. I mean, I get crushed if I feel like I've done something to disappoint those two entities in my world. When it comes to doing this day in and day out with my clients, please don't take this the wrong way. I don't care if people like me in this environment. I really don't. I care more about, Matt, making you successful. That's my passion. I want to help you succeed and meet your objectives and build the company you want to build and take care of horses and stop getting them killed. Okay? And in the world that I have to live in, sometimes we have to have some discussions that aren't necessarily comfortable, aren't necessarily easy, because I'm going to challenge you about the things that you believe in, and are you really committed to doing what you want to do? And no one likes to be challenged about that kind of stuff. But having a need for approval when it comes to selling can kill you. You can't care, not that you can't care if people like you or not, but when you're asking for money, you got to be willing to have that uncomfortable conversation in order to accomplish that. Next, your own personal beliefs. The things that you believe to be true in your everyday world so you can get along with society don't necessarily always apply to how well you have to, or the things you have to believe to succeed in business. So in other words, Marvin, in order for me to say yes to your business plan, what is it that I need? What is it that you believe you need to show me or tell me in order for me to say, okay, I'll write you a check?
I need to show you that I'm hitting the pain points if you're a customer or from an investor.
Yep, from an investor perspective. Yep, because we're talking about investors right now. Okay?
How you're going to make money, type of impact that you're investing into.
So you have to demonstrate your plan, you have to educate me and all those sorts of things, right? Okay, and so that's your belief system. I don't know that it's necessarily true that you have to make a presentation in order to get somebody to say yes. What will happen to you is you will make lots of presentations, you will educate a lot of people, and they'll nod their head and they'll say it's a great idea, and they'll never see them again. They go dark. They go crickets. Or they take your idea and share it with somebody else who maybe has more money and they have a better relationship with us. Hey, I got this idea. And in selling, that can get you killed. Handling rejection. What we have found out over the last 25 years, this might be the biggest thing. And in your world, this has got to be ultimately the truth. If you can't handle the no, it's like if you can't handle the truth, right? Right? If you can't handle no, then you might want to go find something else to do. because you're going to get plenty of no's. And then money issues.
For me, the no is better than the we'll get back to the silent.
Way better.
The ghosting. It's the
Way
ghosting.
better.
It's like, hey, we love you, kid.
Absolutely.
Just tell me no. That's fine. That's no problem. No is good.
Oh.
Wasting more time.
Oh, I mean, I don't know your history. I don't know what you've been through, but I've been at this for a long, long time. And when you talk to someone who you thought was a qualified prospect and they're supposed to give you a decision on a Friday, and they tell you, I want to think it over, what happens to your weekend, Mallory?
Not good.
It's ruined all week long, right? We got to be gutsy enough to say, Jim, you seem like a nice guy. We've had a lot of great conversations. Can I make this easy for you? You're my prospector. You're my funder, right?
Yes.
Can I make this easy for you?
Please.
Just tell me no. Right? I mean, that's the easiest thing. Because here's the thing. Just like you don't like telling people no, your prospect doesn't like telling people no. So try and push them to do that, and you'll get off the bubble. Make sense? We got to be able to handle rejection. So, in order to fix any one of those sales DNA issues, okay, we have to go through a process. First thing we have to figure out, what's the impact, okay? What baggage is getting in my way? We got to be able to ask for the money, and then we've got to clearly understand what is it that we do that makes us get paid, okay? So let's dig into this a little bit and talk about what money issues are, okay? Mike, what's your perception? In your world, what do you consider a lot of money?
I equate it to freedom. Of what you
I'm being
personal.
I'm being real
Like $1?
literal. I'm being literal. See, memory is the second thing to go when you get to be my age. I won't tell you the first. It's hair. I'm being literal. Someone says, boy, that's a lot of money. What number did they just share with you?
Boy. To me, there's one person, I won't mention the name, that said, see that homeless person? They're worth $950 million more than I am because of debt. I mean, so money to me is, as you know, personally, is freedom.
I get that.
But however, in terms of a company, how do I sustain myself? How does a company sustain themselves, keeping the principles and ideas?
Okay, hold on.
What context?
We're philosophical. Literally.
What context? As an
In,
investor?
in,
or
in,
as an
in, in
individual?
any context, I'm gonna give you a check, and here's the number, and you say to yourself, holy crap, that's a lot of money. What's the number?
$5 million.
Thank you.
Yeah, roughly. It's 3.
Roughly.
3.
What's a few $1 million between friends, right? Roughly $5 million. $3 million.
I'm going to go with 4 then.
4. $1 million.
$180,000.
$180,000.
Here's my dinner at Miss Polo's today.
Okay.
Yesterday, which is $75.
$75, right? Got it.
1,000.
1,000.
A lot of 50 million.
50 million. 10 million.
I'd say 10 million.
Okay, good. So everybody has a benchmark in your mind that you probably hadn't thought about in terms of, wow, that's a lot of money. What influence does that have on you when you're trying to ask for money or spend money? What do you think? Anybody?
It's hard to ask for anything above that threshold.
It'd be very, there's a choke point, right? Okay, good. What else? Anybody?
Responsibility. I mean, it feels like a big responsibility.
Yeah, the bigger the number, the more commas, the more zeros, the different sense of responsibility. How about fear of failure? Does that start to set in just a little bit? Okay, when you got a lot of zeros in that thing and a lot of commas. What else? When it comes time to make purchases or invest in your company, how will that impact your thinking?
How much time you put into thinking it over?
How much time you spend thinking it over? Okay, I hadn't thought about that, but yes. What else? Return on investment. Okay, if I'm going to invest this, what am I going to get? We're talking to a bank right now in Iowa, and they're not hung up on it, but we addressed this yesterday in our conversation. I said, if you're like most people, I said, now you haven't asked me this question yet, so I'm going to ask the question you haven't asked yet. See, and if you don't help them ask that question, they will leave that meeting with you, and they're going to ask it in a private room when you're not there and you can't control the situation anymore. Does that make sense? So you got to bring it up. You haven't asked me yet about ROI. What can you expect? Well, let me tell you about our case studies. All right. So the way your perception of a lot of money, okay, will influence how you go about looking for investors and asking for checks. When I was asked that question almost 30 years ago, I believe the number I came up with was $3,000. I think that was my number.
Why?
He went around the room doing just what I did. Just came out, $3,000. Just that's what came out. And now, probably part of the why is my own background. I grew up on a blueberry farm in New Jersey, where my dad, at his best year, made $8,500 a year. I remember once my dad came home and told Mom that the guy who owned the farm just took out a life insurance policy for my dad, because my dad didn't have a life insurance policy. My mom says, well, how much? And my dad said $10,000. Now, maybe I was 8, 9, I forget how old I was, but I'm thinking, holy crap, if I had $10,000, I don't know how I'd spend it all. Okay, so there's lots of influences that drive us to what our number is. All right?